Damn, that was a great game of Ultimate Frisbee. I just whooped some ass.
You're in rare form tonight.
I am. Am I? I'm borderline delusional. I'm so tired.
Didn't you just work out?
I did. I mean,
aren't you rejuvenated now?
I am. Do you think it's lying that I tell people I do CrossFit and then my workout?
No.
I haven't told you what my workout was.
Okay.
I did 10 minutes on the assault bike.
You do
like 110. Yeah, but not always 10 minutes, but I do assault bike every day. Yeah, sometimes do it for 20, sometimes do it for 400 calories. But no, did I say 400 calories? 200 calories.
I was going to say 400 calories is a lot.
No, I did that once. That's no good.
Someone might accuse you of doing CrossFit then.
And I never go as hard as I can because I feel like I could break, but I don't. I try to make sure I'm sweating. And then I just did I did deadlifts. I started at 125 with 10, and then I did 10 sets and added all the weights until I had all the fractional plates on, which was 205. So
nice. That's a great workout.
I don't know. I think I lack the intensity part.
I don't often hear. Well, the intensity maybe, but the movement, the sweating, it's all there.
Yeah.
You have your things that you prefer to do, the bike and then like strict pull-ups and muscle-ups and stuff, but you always work in a light barbell here and there. You always talk about the weights you use, and I think it's good diversity.
Thank you, Brian. Did I say I was played Ultimate Frisbee or Frisbee Golf? I'm going for the Frisbee Golf look. This show is called the Sevan Podcast, and it's so much about fucking placating me that I figured I would go with a look that you felt comfortable with, being that you play Frisbee Golf.
I've never seen anyone playing Frisbee Golf looking like that, but you did say Ultimate Frisbee.
Wait a second. You don't play with a bandana? Or what's this called? A sweatband? You don't play with a sweatband? Oh, you don't take the game seriously, buddy. What's the guy's name? Who's your dog? Did you say Brody Smith?
Yeah, Brody Smith used to be a professional Ultimate Frisbee player of the highest caliber, who was also a trick shot specialist on YouTube. But 2 years ago, he had too many injuries playing Ultimate Frisbee, so he tried to pick up disc golf, and now he's amongst the best 40 players in the world after only 2 years of playing.
Damn, and he's buff too.
Yeah, he's a big guy. A lot of those disc golfers are tall, but he also probably throw at 600 feet, which is like top distance because of his background in Ultimate.
He can throw a Frisbee golf 600 yards.
600 feet.
600 feet. Okay, not a Discraft, whatever it is, 175. He can't throw that 600 feet.
Is that an Ultimate Frisbee?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a company called Discraft.
I don't think so. I'm asking. That was like with a question mark.
A Discraft 175. What are you looking at, or is that a disc that you have?
That's just what we play. That's just what Ultimate Frisbee people use. That's your typical beach Frisbee.
Is that
175?
The weight of the disc?
It's 175 grams.
Interesting.
And I can throw one really, really far. Or in my heyday, I could. Like, I think I was bragging to you one time. I can throw it from one. I can be in the end zone of a football field, and I threw it out of the end zone of the other football field. When I say threw it out, I mean just barely, but I did it. And how many feet is that? That's 300 feet.
360 maybe, but it makes sense because the discs for disc golf also weigh in the 170 gram range, but they're like 2/3 of the diameter, so they're much smaller. And so they're more dense. That's why they can throw them further.
Yeah, and when I pick one of those up, it doesn't even feel like Frisbee to me.
It's definitely feel, but the mechanics of being able to throw like with control on angles and get a good spin rate and finish, that transfers over.
And unfortunately, the whole point of this conversation was to tell you that I'm right and you're wrong, because I'm going to Google this guy's name and he's going to be wearing sweatbands, and guess what? He doesn't wear sweatbands.
He probably has a hat on. Most of those guys wear hats.
That's disappointing. You think we're going to get him on the podcast?
So far, it doesn't look good, but maybe. I'm not giving up hope.
That's why I do all the dreaming. Of course, we're going to get him on the podcast.
He's entertaining.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want you to spit out a name. I want uncensored, unedited. I just really want you just to whatever comes to the top of your mind.
I'll do my best.
In the CrossFit community, who should we get on the podcast who we haven't had on?
My man Vellner.
Oh, Patrick Vellner. I think that there is a little tension between him and I.
Well, then let's...
Yeah, I would love to have Patrick Vellner on the show. I was gonna. The reason why I asked you is I got off the assault bike and I was like, I can't believe we haven't had Mike Bergner on.
Well, that's totally different. Yeah, different.
What do you mean totally different?
Just different realm altogether. Because you had said athlete.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Well, he's a CrossFit athlete too, but I know what you mean. Okay. Should I give you another chance at it? Who is anyone in the CrossFit ecosystem that you would like to have on? Oh, I just thought of another name. That will. Go ahead.
Well, but not for a couple of months.
Oh, Dave Castro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed him this morning. Did you see it yet?
No, I was coaching.
I would like to have Bill Henniger on.
That would be fascinating. Interaction with him. Like, hi, that's probably it.
I asked him to be on the CrossFit podcast, and he says he doesn't do podcasts.
How many years ago?
I don't know. Seems like a lifetime ago.
4 years? 3 years?
I think he likes me. He's always exceedingly nice to me and goes out of his way to help me anytime I have any issues. But through the grapevine, I always hear like reports.
Has he done it since then? Since that time?
I could look him up. I don't think so. But
My guess is no.
He is probably. There's let's see, videos, Bill Henniger. I mean, I've interviewed him CrossFit Captain Bill Henniger from 2011. CrossFit interview with Bill Henniger, Rogue Fitness, 2011. I bet you some of these interviews I've done, it's probably just like
really
impromptu stuff at the games. Yeah, he's been.
Were you there when he first approached Dave? That story
you mean
that
like,
Dave told about the jump rope?
Tell me the story again.
I can't remember the year. I think it was 2008 after the game that Bill approached Dave and said, I'm starting this I want to show you one of the products that we make, and gave him a jump rope. And that was like the origins of the relationship. But I can't remember where I heard that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that story. I just know him through Katie, right? Katie was at the game. She won the games.
That's
Holy
what we need.
Shit.
Tell us if it's true or not, or if I'm just delusional.
Should I call him and get him on?
One question. That's the only question.
Why do you want to wait to interview him? Why do you want to wait till after the games?
Honestly?
Yeah.
I want him to be able to focus on programming the games.
Oh my God, your kindness is disgusting. Which athletes did you talk to at the semifinals?
In Vegas?
Any of them. Like ones who are competing. Which ones did you talk to?
Edgar?
Okay, let's stop there. Why did you talk to them? Why did you not feel bad talking to them?
Well, we did a podcast with him, actually, also with 18. So I met him really early on, and you've met Cole. He's just an incredibly nice guy. We had a great time
Very
on
nice.
the podcast, and so anytime I see him, he's always gracious and talking to me, and even have sometimes minimal interaction in the off season if there's something relevant that comes up. Just a nice. So when I saw him, it was like great to see him after 18 months or whatever.
Do you not want to disrupt these people during the game season because you're afraid you'll say something that will get into their head and it will like fuck them up, or you just don't want to interrupt their flow?
And now, are you still asking about the athletes?
Anyone? Because you're very courteous, and I respect that. But you also have a job to do, and they benefit from your job. Like, it's not a waste of time for athletes to talk to you.
No, I just want them to be, I want to just be people like Matt Fraser has said, don't everyone bothering me. After the competition, if you want to talk, I'll stick around for 3 days if there's that many people who want to talk to me. So it's just the right time for it.
And that's a great example, too, because he has scared me off before. Did you see the podcast I did with him and Josh a couple days ago?
Nope.
God, you're wasting your life playing Frisbee golf.
That's not true.
That is not true.
I've barely played. I've been busy this week. A lot of things going on with semifinal, last chance qualifiers coming, and
correct. Holy cow! Do you have access to a computer?
Yeah.
Besides the one you're on, I mean, can you pull up a window? Go to the game site. Have you seen this video, the Asia Invitational West Coast Classic Day 3 highlights? It's 17 minutes and 18 seconds.
No.
Oh, and then it turns into okay, I didn't realize it's going to be a show with Sean Woodland and Annie. But man, the footage is insane. The footage is insane.
Why?
It's super duper shallow depth of field. The whites are white, the blues are blue. It's got some sort of filter on it that's, I think they call it grading in the business, and it's amazing. I have the volume off, then it goes. I love it. It looks beautiful. I need to watch this. Have you watched any of the semifinals yet? Do you have any feedback on the commentary, the camera work, any of that stuff?
Haven't had a chance. The only one I watch is the West Coast Classic. I mean, I watched the ones previously that were live, or a majority of them at least. Now I have this turn on.
When I watched the Granite games, I was frustrated. I think. Do you remember who was commentating that? It was Tommy and someone else. Do you remember
Chase?
Who? Chase. And I think that's when I was watching, and I was frustrated as all hell, and I was blaming Tommy and Chase. But then I realized when I watched the West Coast Classic, it was Tommy and someone else who has a great voice. Yeah, I don't know who it is. Is that the little bald guy?
I don't think. No. You're thinking of Brandon.
Oh, yeah. Because this guy had a great voice. But then I realized in that one that it wasn't Tommy's fault and this other guy's fault. What'd you call him? Joel? That it was the fact that they were following I'm guessing, I don't talk to either of them, but I'm guessing that they were following the camera work and not the event. So they're not watching the event, they're watching the TV. And so they're reporting on whatever the camera people are showing. And so it's not their fault that they're not talking about the big names. They didn't show Noah Olsen until 7 minutes into heat number 1, or someone would cross the finish line and the camera would be on them for first place, but there would be a war for second and third place, and it would be a half a second apart. But since the camera didn't show it, they didn't talk about it. And so I had to kind of let them off the hook and be like, well, shit, they did a fantastic job, but they're following someone else's lead, whoever's calling the camera shots.
Yeah. So first of all, you are right when you're supposed to look at the monitor, not the field of action, so that you can speak about what you see, which is also what the viewers see things appropriately, right? Because you're not always on the same side of the floor. Like you might be facing the floor, but the camera that you might be looking at will be facing you, or something like that. Anyway, so that's one thing that's challenging. But called spotters that work with the broadcasters. Sometimes they're on a headset on the floor, in both capacities, and they are watching the floor. Information to you, or in the truck to direct the cameras to go to different areas. You people doing both.
When you were a spotter, did they listen to you? Did they take your cues?
Yeah, definitely. So if you watch the first year of sanctionals for Wadapalooza, anytime you'll see Bill and Chase calling the action, you'll see me and Chad Schrader on just feeding them information the whole time. So we just it was like a team of 4 of us. They were talking and they were doing everything they were meant to do, and we would just give them extra information based on what's happening on the floor and prerequisite knowledge of the athletes in the competition. And it was awesome.
Why? Chad Schroeder. So when I worked at CrossFit, I would get all my information from him. He would send me the craziest packet. It would have, and he would send it to me before. I think he sent it to everyone on the games team too. It wasn't just for me. And I would get this packet, and it would have a picture of every athlete, and then just shit tons of information about them. And then from there, it would take those 20 or 40 or 1,000 pages, whatever it was, and I would condense it into just what I wanted. Right. Perfect. I wonder why I didn't
Everyone
choose
should do
him
that when they get that.
That packet. I wonder, and I can't remember if I've ever met him, but I've exchanged dozens of emails with him, and I really liked him. Is he cool?
Yeah. After going out there in 2018 and doing that with you, when we started going to the regionals, every person I met, podcast or media that wasn't necessarily a part of you, like people that were working at those regionals, they would find out what I was, how much I knew about the athletes, and they'd say, "You need a trader," and it was like it happened at all three totally different people, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" Met him, and it was almost like finding your lost older brother that you never knew you had, and we just like more seasoned version of me. He's been doing it professionally since 2011 or 12.
He wasn't threatened by you?
No, it was with Tommy Marquette's, like, just to find someone else that could talk about the competition in that much depth and have that much recall is rare. A couple of guys that I feel like are ability to retain information about this sport, and those are two of them.
So me, Tommy, and Chad.
Yeah, that's the four right there. That's it. No, that's not fair. There are some other ones, and I wouldn't want to recognize them.
So that's awesome. And I always imagine from the email exchanges I had with Chad I probably have met him, but just my foggy brain can't remember it. But I just remember really liking him, even though I didn't know why. Like, I just really, really liked him, and he was great. He was prompt with responding. Do you remember exactly how our paths crossed? Because I tell just like this real Cliff Notes version of how I remember it.
You started doing a segment on your CrossFit. It's called Trolling the Leaderboard. It was for the 2018.
I have no memory of that.
At this time, I was watching every episode you put out. I was watching, and I was digesting a lot of CrossFit content during this time. Like, there's a reason why I invested a lot of time watching stuff, and so I watched all your
girlfriend had just broken up with you, and that's all you did. You just watched.
I was
videos.
Actually completely.
Holy shit. When you say completely celibate, like no seeds flew, or just no with anyone
Only
else
myself.
in the room? Okay. Okay.
But abstinence, I guess.
I was going to say, you must have been an asshole.
No,
okay.
Abstinence, we'll say.
We'll circle back to that. I like how you got in your abstinence in my origin story with you. Go on. In our origin story.
That's why I had so much time to do that.
Okay.
Or one of the reasons I did. This Trolling the Leaderboard section, and I was like, finally. It's a platform for people to talk about all the stories that are going on during this incredible competition that's so unique, and it's not just talking about the best performance in the world, which is fine, and we should recognize there's other stories. And so I sent you dude, this podcast, this Trolling the Leaderboard is such a great idea. I've been waiting for something like this, but you missed so many awesome stories. And I listed out like three examples from just the week one of the Open. And
what, you emailed me or on Instagram?
DM on Instagram.
Okay.
And your response was, awesome, send me more. So week two, the same thing. As soon as I saw the Open leaderboard, I 3 pages of ideas. And
I must have hated you. I must have hated you at that point. 3 pages. Okay, go on.
You printed them off, and you used them as the entire podcast for week 2 of the Open.
Did I give you credit?
By name. This guy on Instagram,
awesome.
Brian. And Matt Bishop's like, Brian, friend, whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I can't believe this is actually, he's reading my notes, right? I start looking at them while I'm watching it, knowing you've already recorded it. And I'm like, wow, I hope I was accurate with all the stuff I sent him. And it was good. So you did the same thing for week 3. And then you said, I want to bring you out here for week 5. And with me and with Matt.
God, I'm a good dude. Go on, tell me.
Yeah.
And so you came out and we did a podcast.
No, you
No.
weren't there.
You came out there, and I wasn't. Where was I?
Yeah, I flew. Dude, I didn't even find out until I was landed already in San Jose or something. I flew in the airport.
You flew from
landed.
Chicago? From Chicago? This is a
No,
great
I was
story.
living in Florida, Myers, and
To the car.
and drive to HQ, and you text me. Greg needs me. I'm not going to be there.
Oh, that's the story of my life. Hold on one second. Wait, Hayley, what's the deal with the dog? Oh, well, do something with the dog, please. Brian Friend is talking. Go on. I apologize, Brian, in this fabulous story. So you come out there, you land from Florida, you've flown all the way across the North American continent, and I say to you, I'm not there. Did you do the podcast still?
Yeah, so you're like, just go to HQ. Someone will meet you, and I'm like, someone will. Name, no nothing, no time. I'm like, okay. First person I see is Tommy Marquez.
Good, good.
And I'm like, Tommy, my name is Brian. I'm here. But I know he's not here. He goes, oh, yeah. I knew you were coming. I knew. He showed me around HQ, introduced me to everyone. Bishel, and then Matt Bishel hosted that show. And Tommy and I were the guy, like, on the either side of the table.
And did you get a word in? Were you able to talk?
Yeah, they used my notes again for the entire skeleton and outline of the Open. It was now the end of the Open. And Tommy was up for it. Like I said, he and I conversation back and forth about the athletes in more depth than anyone I'd ever met before by like 100-fold, because there's not a lot of.
Was he threatened by you or jealous or tripping or embraced you like, yeah, let's do this?
Never even thought about it. I was like, man, I hope I embarrass myself. Because I was expecting to be with you.
Yeah.
And then I was thrown into Tommy.
I'm like, I really like those shorts that guy was wearing. You're like, yes.
Yeah. And then,
Okay.
It's like, this is the guy I've been watching. He's the guy who's paid by CrossFit to know more about the athletes than anyone. And now you're going to be on, you're supposed to be here as the expert on this Open stuff. And now you're sitting down with the guy.
I always felt like there was this, and I can't think of any specific examples, but I always felt like there was this ridicule because I would do that. I would let people come in from the outside. I was always like, I was open to that. I was always open for like new talent, good, like cultivating more talent. Okay, so we do. So you come to the show.
There's other people that you gave those opportunities to that are now working for CrossFit as contractors in the media field.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. My favorite. Do you know Lillian Fuentes?
That's what I'm talking about. I saw her at both competitions, and her and I met, as both outsiders, you would say, working for you at the regionals that year.
That's right. Holy shit, I remember that. That was a great regional. Was that at Del Mar?
Yep. Well, no,
Yeah.
it was first in Albany and then in Del Mar.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so stoked on her. Yeah, what an incredible. Came and just dug in and got all the on the job training. So then when did I? So we were supposed to do that podcast. We didn't do that podcast, and then when did we finally meet?
I leave there and I'm like, well, I got to go to HQ. I went to the original Santa Cruz gym. Bucket list thing for me as a huge CrossFit fan. I'm like, and if nothing else comes of it, whatever. And 2 weeks later, you messaged me and you said, "Great podcast, regionals?" ? Classic. This is how Sevan communicates. Straight to the point. No superfluous or extra stuff. And I said, "Let me check with my boss." So I said, "Yeah." And you said, "Okay, Albany, week 1."
And we just started doing pod live. Did we stream those live?
You put me in. Well, yeah. I think so. You put me in touch with at the time. He arranged everything. I traveled.
Great dude.
We get there. I mean, you were like the last person I met.
Because I was with Greg, probably.
You were with Greg or whatever. You were doing whatever, responsibility you needed to do. So I meet Gary, meet Lillian, meet Michael McCoy, and then finally I met you. and we had dinner
What-
that first night, and I was exhausted from traveling and whatever. And you just like to stay up late and eat the Brussels sprouts.
And was Mike Workington there?
Mike Workington was there, yeah, because he was on the podcast with us. It was the three of us.
Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic. That is an incredible team, I think. Me, you, and Mike Workington. That show, fuck, man. Mike knows a lot about CrossFit. He may know more about CrossFit than anyone alive. And that's saying a lot, because sometimes I think I know more than anyone alive, but man, that guy, he was the editor-in-chief of the CrossFit Journal with 10,000 pieces of content, and that guy, I mean, sometimes when Greg would need something written, he would write it in Greg's voice, and then we would read it and be like, holy shit, you sound just like Greg.
Yeah,
And now Chris Cooper has him locked up in Canada. And I don't use the word locked up lightly.
I got it. No, because one of the episodes in Del Mar that year, responsibility with the affiliates that were all at the competition. Okay, you're hosting the show today, you and Mike, and it's gonna be Mormont. And I'm like,
Oh, great dude.
I'm like,
CrossFit
Max
Costa
Mormont.
Mesa? What gym is he? CrossFit?
Yes, and he's brought teams to the games for several years in a row. He was coached through some of those tumultuous years, some good, some not so good, and just a
I really like
wealth of
Christian
knowledge.
Lucero.
Huh?
I really like Christian Lucero.
Yeah,
Sorry, go on.
I've only met. It was well after his. He was just at a sanctional actually. Anyway, and so I was like, man, these two guys have been around this sport, working Max Mormont for 20 plus combined, maybe 28 years combined or something at that. And I'm supposed to host this podcast.
I love it. Okay. And you did it.
We did it, and it was fine. And honestly, I was like, okay, what does Sevan do? And try to just use elements of that. Obviously, I'm not Sevan, but like, he doesn't waste time on the introduction. So I just got immediately into whatever I was thinking at the time. And then those guys had plenty to say. So then I let them talk for a while. While they were talking, I was just thinking basically about what you do. Is not the next question I wanted to ask them necessarily, something really good, but just the next topic. Okay, now we just talk the old school games. Now let's talk about something that happened at this regional, and then just back and forth like that. And they were great.
And you were celibate at this time?
Abstinent.
Abstinent at this time?
I don't know.
What? Well,
Maybe.
Who was the recipient? No, that's not how I want to ask that. I don't care who. What qualities did the recipient of your lovemaking have that was able to derail you from your 5 years of abstinence? Yeah, I think that asks pretty good.
Living in a place for 3 years, and there was the entire time, and it was my last night before.
Holy shit. Do you have commitment issues? You waited till the last night before you were leaving town? Was it kind of a justification?
That's
Like,
after
okay, I should...
I mean, for 2 years.
3 years.
No, I didn't know it the first year.
Wow. And then that just broke the seal and you were back in the game?
It was slow re-entry, but seal was broken.
Wow. And were you at the time, were you like kicking yourself? Like, shit, why did I do that? I should have gone for 6 years. Like every time I'm always happy to get a haircut and shave my beard, but there's a part of me that's like, oh, you fucking failed. You should have never cut your hair shaved.
No.
That's amazing. And why did you start the journey intentionally, or just no one liked you? No, you already said this chick liked you, so people liked you. It wasn't that you weren't unfuckable. You know, there used to be a CrossFit shirt that used to say unfuckwithable. Did you know that?
No, I have never seen that one.
Yeah, that's back in the old days. But you were rocking the shirt unfuckable. No. So yeah, why?
Why? Yeah, I had some bad experience to take that time for myself.
So to protect yourself emotionally, it wasn't like, hey, you read in a book that you could save your chi, and like, you weren't like.
No, I just wanted to. I felt like I needed to get to know myself more, and I gave myself that time, and I was pretty happy with it for that time. And then,
Wow, 5 years. That's impressive. A couple times in my life, I've gone 2 or 3 months without any ejaculation. And that's crazy.
yeah,
It's crazy. It's pretty intense. And one time I was telling my dad about it, and he said, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. I didn't believe him, but I thought, what a great like justification.
Your kid that?
Yeah. Well, and just for me, it was like a great justification. It was like one time someone told me, a dear friend told me, and this probably isn't a good thing ever to tell one of your friends. He said, I like you better when you're drunk. I was like, oh, that kind of hurts. Okay, people, are you happy? I asked Brian about himself. Let's move on. He doesn't bone. I am a little surprised at how many girls DM me about you. There are girls who have crushes on you, which, I mean, it's like having a crush on a calculator, but I guess there's someone for everyone. When are the CrossFit Games?
July 25th or 6th. Or Monday is the first day of the calendar.
Okay. And do we know anything about how many events they're going to be? Have they released any of the events? Do we know what day it starts? Do we know if they are they even going to release the events? Is it going to be an unknown and unknowable year? Like, what's the deal?
I hope it's unknowable, but
I love I love that too. I'm surprised you like that. Okay, go on.
I mean, look, the more information
I feel like
I can accurately predict the results, I don't want to know.
Explain that to me. That was a little weird. That was a little hard to process. I mean, I think I get what you're saying because you're lazy and you don't want to do the work.
If I know how many tests there are and I know what the tests are, I feel like I know the athletes well enough to project who's going to do better or worse relative to the field. Tests. The tests every year are pretty well same. Sometimes there's more running. Sometimes there's heavier weights. Sometimes there's more long. That's fine. But all of those things will have not usually any impact on the number one placement overall. But they do often have implications on, lots of other rankings along the way down the leaderboard.
And why wouldn't you want to know that? Isn't that something you enjoy doing?
Yeah, so I wouldn't prefer not to know from a work standpoint. I'm happy to do that work, and I love doing it. But I like the idea of the tests being released incrementally at the games, and that the athletes have an element of short amount of time to prepare, because that's a testable and important part of fitness to a situation without having a lot of time to think about it.
So, I didn't listen to one or two of those sentences in there because I was over here pulling up a sheet to quiz you on some other shit. But if I'm guessing what you said, so basically from the fan perspective, you would rather not know them so you can just see it unfold.
But also,
I also just kind of like the integrity of the test more that way.
Ah, okay. Me too. I'm on the game's leaderboard. By the way, Brian doesn't know this game that we're about to play. So this is Test Brian. We can call this piece Trolling the Leaderboard. Are those the people who are going to the games?
At the 2021 CrossFit Games?
I think so. I'm on the. I clicked on the games button.
You want me to go to that space?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that would be great.
here somewhere.
And at the top is Samuel
Actually, I don't know.
Cornhole, Sean Sweeney, Brent Fikowski, Stas Solodov, Cole Sager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So are these all the guys who are going to the games?
Yeah, and there should be 38 here, and this means they've registered. So actually, yeah, now that BKG is registered, I think all of them have registered.
And will there be more after the last chance qualifier?
2 more. There'll be 2 more. So this is 38 of the eventual 40.
Okay. You ready to play a really tough game? Do you know what game we're going to play?
No.
I'm going to say someone's name, and you're going to tell me if they're going to win the games. We're going to go through them. And you have 3 choices: yes, no, or maybe. But yeah, it's going to be cutthroat. Can't have and we're going to see
Hey, what's the question? Can they win the game?
Are they going to win the games? We'll leave it at that. Are they going to win the games? But we should grade you if at the end there's 5 left, that means you get an A. If there's 10
5 left.
If there's 5 maybes, you get an A.
Don't tell me the rules. Just let's play.
Okay. Cole Mertens, yes, no, or maybe. Okay. Travis Mayer. Jay Crouch. Gamboa.
No.
Chandler Smith. Ladies and gentlemen, just watch your screen and watch him squirm. Zach Watts.
No.
Tim Paulson.
No.
You have to understand why this is so hard for Brian, because this is so out of his comfort zone, because he really needs to crunch it in his head. And he doesn't want to just do this. He wants to crunch it and be like, the atom weighs 3.6 moles. He wants to give you so this is good for him. This breaks him out. Justin Medeiros.
What's the difference between yes and maybe?
Maybe if you only have 5 maybes left at the end, I'll give you an A. That
how many yeses?
I think that's an A. You can. Sorry. Boy, I don't have this game thought out very well. I should work for the CrossFit Games. I haven't figured, or I should work out for which is the West Coast Classic? Who's the one who changed the rules in the middle?
The CrossFit Games. Anyway, I think I should
let's just go
1 yes and 5 maybes.
Let's just go all maybes then. Maybe or no. Or no.
Okay, maybe for Medeiros.
Really? Justin? Okay. Let me see how far along we are. We are about 1/3 of the way through, and we've already explained that there's 2 names that we don't know yet. Baden Brown. This next one's, man, he may never come on the show again. Don't fuck us, Brian. Remember, have some bias. Jason Hopper.
Maybe.
Okay. And what did you give Medeiros? A maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Jason Smith.
No.
Should we have him on the podcast?
I'm sure it'd be amazing to have him on the podcast. We can ask him what's going on in Africa, which hardly anyone will know about. There's a lot of cool things happening there in Cross. And also if he sees any newcomers coming in the world, because we really haven't seen anyone challenge him yet.
And what about the fact that is he the oldest guy at the games?
Yeah, and I think he's now the oldest guy to 35 to 39 division became a thing.
Okay, so you could almost say in the modern era, he's the oldest guy who's ever qualified for the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
And you like him. It's not just that he's from Africa. You actually think, and that he got slipped in. You actually think he's good.
I don't know how good a guy that old can do relative to this field yet. We haven't really seen it, but he wasn't much younger. It was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and he was top 5 in some events, in the 20s. He wasn't out of place by any means.
Do you think he could win the teen division?
The teenage?
Yeah.
Against the best teenager? This year? Yeah, probably.
Okay. You were going to laugh at that question, and then for a second, you're like, actually, that's a pretty good question. Or no?
The teenagers on the men's side really can't. have not proven that they can hang with the games athletes the way that the women have.
Right. Okay. We won't fall into that. But it's different going down than going up. Because the weights will be lighter and you still have to deal with those kids' engines.
Good point.
Wow. Holy shit. I don't know if you've ever said that to me. Scott Panchik.
No.
You're breaking my heart. Royce Dunn.
No.
Adrian Mundwiller.
No.
Mundwiller. You pronounce the W as a V?
Yeah.
Mundwiller. Sam Stewart. Augustin. Why is this? This is, man, you're hurting. This is actually making me.
For every single guy.
Augustin Richelme.
Wow. Augustine Raquelme. And no.
Georgos Caravas.
No.
Henrik Happy.
Happalainen?
Happy Henrik. Yeah.
No.
Oh my God, we're gonna know who the winner is here in a minute. Luka Dukic. Yeah, that's what I said. Lazar Jukic.
No.
Fascinating. I think we talked about this in one of the podcasts. Brothers, right?
Yeah, brothers, and both making it. Well, both of them are going to be competing at their first games. Lazar Jukic turned down the opportunity to compete as a national champion from his country in 2019 because he didn't think he was fit enough to compete yet.
Wow, what do you think about that?
I think he was the only one who did it. I kind of like it.
Is it kind of a mistake, though? He could have got the experience under his belt?
For one event and $10,000 to get there?
Okay, fair. Yana Koski.
No.
What? What's wrong? Why? What immediately?
I'm taking a hard line here.
Okay. Oldis Upanikis.
No.
Yeah. Yes, Brian, yes.
Upanikis, are you kidding?
We're almost done with this. Don't bail out now. Give me Oldis Upanikis.
No.
Guillermo Malheros.
No.
Andre Hudet.
No.
Bjorgvin Carl Gudmundsson. Oh my goodness. I picked up the pen for that one. Will Morad.
No.
Brandon Luckett.
No.
Jeffrey Adler.
No.
Patrick Vellner. Yes or maybe?
Oh, maybe. There's no yes.
Okay. Alex Vigneault.
It'll be coming out next week, and I'm pretty excited for people to.
What's the article about, and where will it be published?
It's called The Return of Vigneault, and it'll be published in the Morning Chalk Up.
And what did you see something in the? What's the article about? What's the theme of the article? I mean, besides that he's
basically
returning.
that he's been good for a long time, like really good for a long time, but because of a few setbacks and those changes to the season and his life and the way things all up, if you started watching in 2017, him yet, but in 2015 and 16, he was third in regionals. He was already really good at huge specialist in anything. He's very good at pretty much everything.
But he can't. But he's not going to win the games.
No.
Alexander Ilin.
No.
Hayley, can you give the dog some Vicodin? Could you give the dog some Vicodin or sleeping pills or whatever you take at night to help you ignore me? Cole Sager. Before I go on with these last four names, I want to ask you a question. what is the difficulty of doing this besides your personal pathology of needing to do things in a certain procedure? Does any of it have to do with the fact that these are your friends and that you don't want to?
There are athletes that I said no to today that should be coming to the games with the 100% confidence that they can win the games.
Okay, I understand. Okay, that's fair. Good answer. Stas Solodov.
No,
Brent Fikowski.
maybe.
But he shit the bed in the semifinal.
No, he didn't. He did fucking.
Wow. Okay, explain that to me. First let me tell you why I'm being so harsh. He barely made it in the fifth workout. Is that correct? In the final workout, he barely made it and took fifth place.
Yeah, he had an incredible, which is, I think, severely. That workout, and he finished fourth in Canada in that semifinal, and basically said, "I'm gonna prove you wrong, Brian. I can have a phenomenal performance even at a maybe range of motion disadvantage." I was impressed.
But that's a big leap between being able to bear down and kick ass in one workout to, okay, he gets to be in this list that has Patrick Vellner, Jason Hopper, and Justin Medeiros.
He gets to be in that list because he's earned the right to be in that list. He has the longer the test, the more events that are tested, the better his chances, because he can. I don't have the list in front of me. I think he's second. I think he's third all time in most CrossFit Games wins. Hold on, I have it right here. He's tied for fourth. He's tied for fourth in terms of most wins ever at the games, but he had all 6 of his wins in a 2-year span. 2016, 2017, where he did really well. Well, what's happened since then? A bunch of weird stuff, honestly. But he's won major competitions in the off season against high-level competitors. The last Dubai CrossFit Championship, second place was Patrick Vellner. I think Roman Krenikov. Jason Smith was in that field as our Georgios Karavis was in that field. Lots of guys that are now making their move into the games were competing there that weekend. He beat all of them. He went to the Asia and he won in Asia. Should win there, but it's still a win. And he's going to have great events at the games, and he'll have a couple that won't be that good. Size. If you have 6 tests and you have 1 bad one, it's a more severe penalty than if you have 12 tests and you have 1 bad one. So he's probably going to have 1 or 2 bad ones, but he's also going to have 5 top 3 finishes. Talked for a long time.
No, that was good. That's better than me talking for a long time. So I hear what you're saying, and I like it. Okay, good. I'm convinced. Sean Sweeney.
No.
But are you impressed with Sean Sweeney right now? Is he
Yes.
This is the best Sean Sweeney we've ever seen?
I think in pretty much every.
And Samuel, you say his last name.
Cornway? No.
Cornway.
Did you skip?
No. Can I tell you something?
Dude, there's one person that hasn't registered yet that's not on this list.
Holy shit. Okay, hold on. Before you go there, hold that thought. Samuel Cornwye, let me, he spells his name Cournoyer. Cornwye. But if he was a cool dude, he would just spell it Cornya. Like maybe with some hyphens in there or some shit. Okay, so Samuel Cornwye, is he going to make it?
He's a no.
No, okay. Who is the one person, and how do you know this? Before you tell us who it is, how do you know this?
Because it's Noah Olsen.
Oh, shit.
He hasn't registered.
Wow.
He's not on.
Oh, I think he posted on his Instagram, never again, or not until there's changes, or I'm out. You think he's out?
Wait, come on.
No, don't
serious?
you remember that? Yeah.
That was last year.
Yeah. Oh, and he's competed since then. Okay, fine. He's back in.
That's 2 years ago.
Whatever. So Noah, I'll pretend like I read it. So Noah Olsen.
The funny thing is, it's the hardest name for me to say yes or no to.
Amazing. Because you don't think that he necessarily has the talent or but you think he has the experience.
That have recently beaten him, and I don't remember outside of the 2019 and 20 games, which were different sets of tests. It's a different kind of games than we're going to have this year. He's never beaten these guys that I've said yes to.
So a no for Noah?
Who's on the list right now?
Justin Medeiros, Jason Hopper, Patrick Vellner, and Brent Fikowski. And Scott Panchik.
No, I said no to Scott Panchik.
Okay, just testing. And Cole Sager.
I said no to him. It was hard for me to say no to them. And besides the two you just said, PKG and Chandler Smith.
Ooh, yeah, you really stalled on Chandler Smith.
And and yeah, if I'm drawing this hard line here, I'm also gonna say no for Noah.
Wow, I might even give you an A+.
And you know what? Like, saying yes to Hopper is a cop out.
We're getting real.
Because I have no idea of his potential. What he did at the Mid-Atlantic was phenomenal. We know from talking to him that he's in his head. Like, it can be good and it can be bad. And if it continues to be good with the potential he has, I think it's kind of like Brent Fikowski. I still think there's 3 things that are exposed at the games that he doesn't have the capacity he needs to yet. He's only been doing this for a short amount of time. And a lot of these guys, especially the guys on that list, with the exception of Medeiros, I guess, they've been doing this for a really long time. And even Medeiros has been around this for a lot longer than his age. Medeiros been doing this for like 8 years.
Who Medeiros and Hopper might be the same age?
Yeah, let's check.
Okay.
We know how old Hopper is.
While you're checking, did you see this post Matt Fraser made?
Medeiros is younger.
Oh, Medeiros is younger. Wow. How old is Hopper?
Hopper said he's 23, and Games Profile says 22. I thought they were both 23.
Holy cow! And he might be 23. I noticed that some of the profiles are off, in terms of, because when they made them, they've aged since then. They had a birthday since then. Did you see this post that Matt Fraser made? It says 1 day ago, and it's a picture of him and Jason Hopper.
Yep.
So my first question to you is, and I guess I could ask Matt too, why didn't Matt tag him?
He didn't tag you?
No.
There was a post a week ago of Fraser with Justin Medeiros. Some training sessions. I wonder if he tagged him.
I'm going down and looking.
I can't remember for sure if Fraser and Medeiros had posted it.
Oh, well, here's a picture of him and Sammy, and he didn't tag Sammy. And to be honest with you, I don't think Matt even thinks about that shit.
Me?
And here he is with Heber and Marsden, and he didn't tag them.
Okay, so
yeah,
personal.
No, well, I mean, clearly nothing personal. Because why would he put a picture of him if he was trying to, like,
right.
You know? But I feel like that's an omen.
Why? He was doing the same thing with Medeiros 2 weeks before that.
Yeah, but Medeiros is a podium athlete. Medeiros, he has more than just a friendship with.
Oh, so what's the omen of?
Hopper's gonna win it.
Hopper's gonna win it.
I mean, I'm just, if you believe in omens.
At the semifinals.
I'm gonna show you. This is the Medeiros picture, and it's clearly more of an ad, like we're business partners.
No, there was another one where Medeiros was rowing and Fraser was pointing at. It looked like he was pointing at the chain of the.
I do remember that, but even that might have been to announce him as a podium athlete.
I think they were trying.
Anyway, but just for shits and giggles, let me show you the one with Jason Hopper.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Damn, there's a lot of reflections. Anyway, so I think you chose good. I like the 4 you've chosen.
Well,
You ready for one? You ready for one more round of the game?
oh my God.
Yeah, let's do it.
For the girls?
The thing is, people may really like this game, and so they're going to be so pumped. They're so excited for us to do the girls, or people really hate the game and they've already turned off. So, fuck it.
Same game?
Yeah,
Well, there's no point in going through the whole list.
I like to go through the whole list. That way, it's like you're hurting people's feelings, and it's good for you to be. It's good for you not to hurt people's feelings, but you to practice being like emotional. Okay, Caroline.
This is not. Can we just take Tia out then?
No, come on,
There's no one
man.
else.
There isn't.
No.
That's it.
Yes.
She's 27 years old, 163 centimeters, and 58 kilograms.
If she's healthy, she wins.
She's hails from a country called Australia. Okay, ladies. Well, that's tough. And you just ruined my game, Tia. Thank you. You know what? I'm never going to have her on the podcast, and she just ruined the game. Fuck Tia. I'm trying to play hard to get. I hope it works. Caroline Connors. We can take Tia out. Crybaby. Caroline Connors.
If Tia's out, so what's the question? Can they get second?
Yes. Will they be? Yeah.
No.
Ellie Turner.
No.
Amanda Barnhart.
No.
Brooke Wells.
No.
Mallory O'Brien. Oh, and we know who. Cara Sanders.
Maybe.
Emma Carey.
No.
Yeah, I don't know why your butt hurt about Emma Tall. Another Emma made it in here. They should cancel each other out. Ariel Lowen.
No.
Hey, these are much easier names than the dudes. Hayley Adams. I like how you look around like there's someone in the room who's going to help you. Like, you should look back at that donkey hanging on the wall behind you. Tell me, donkey, tell me. Hayley Adams hails from the United States of America and trains at the CrossFit Mayhem Empire. 20 years old, 67 inches tall, 140 pounds.
No.
Michelle Basnet.
No.
Laura Clifton.
No.
Alessandra Picelli.
No.
Jessica Griffith.
No.
Emma McQuaid.
No.
Samantha Briggs.
No.
There is something very unique about Samantha. She's dangerous to the leaderboard.
Not like she used to be.
No?
No.
By that I mean she can shake shit up. She can fuck pacing off for other people.
Oh, there are a ton of women that can do that.
Okay,
But
fine. Ruin my
they're not going
story.
to be there for second place.
Holy cow! Is Sam the oldest athlete in the individual competition?
She's 30. Does it say 39?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And she's only 135 pounds.
Maybe. I don't know how often.
She is petite. Let me see this.
I think she weighs more than that.
170 centimeters 2 inches. She's 5'7".
Yeah. I bet
She's
she weighs
5'7".
over 140.
Okay. She got a tiny waist, man.
She's strong though for her build.
I'm just saying, like, she doesn't have a huge ass and she doesn't have a big waist. She's
True.
legs and shoulders.
True.
And she has a normal size head. How much does a human head weigh? 14 pounds?
No idea.
Laura Horvath.
Maybe.
Wow. Okay, so we have 2 so far. What do you like about her?
That she has. On the physical realm, it's strict parallel handstand push-ups or variations of those things. If there's no minimum work requirement, and even if there's a workout that has that, which there might not be, then it's only one workout. And I think she can do great on everything else. So if I'm comparing her to someone like Hayley Adams, I think that there's a potential for there to be multiple workouts that she'll do very poorly on and won't be able to recover from it. Because I don't think she has the same potential as Laura to outright win events. Hayley could maybe win 1 workout. Laura could maybe win 3 workouts. Laura could do really, really on 1 workout. Hayley could finish in the bottom 2 workouts.
When's the last time you've seen Laura do her negative handstand? So there's a chance that she's even fixed it.
Yeah, potentially for sure. But the other thing that she has, that I think she has now, that she hasn't had for most of the time that she was, or since winning the game, or placing second in the games in her rookie season, 2018, is that she's in a good place mentally and emotionally. And
how do you know that? What's your resource for that?
Some distractions in her personal life during that time, and I think that she's resolved those things now with herself.
A dude?
I don't know a lot of the detail.
You don't want to talk about it?
I don't want to talk about it.
And do you not want to talk about it because that's like out of you think it's rude, or is it because...
I feel like maybe I've...
Jacqueline Dahlstrom.
No.
I can't tell if you have integrity or if you're a shitty reporter. Amelia Lappinen.
No.
Kristen Holte. Who is Kristen's male counterpart at the CrossFit Games? Is she
historically speaking?
Yeah, like is she
It's
Scott
probably-
Panchik or no? She's not. She is.
Panchik, with one exception.
Really?
And the exception is as consistent as Scott, but she has multiple finishes around the same region as him. She has never had anything above 4th, and she has a 6th and 2 7ths. He's got like 4 4ths, 2 5ths, and 3 6ths or something like that. So they have a lot of good podium.
Okay, but he's had more.
Noah Olsen maybe is a better comparison, actually, because Noah Olsen has that outlier of a second place finish, and then he also has a 5th and 2 8ths to go against Kristen's 6th and 2 7ths.
Yeah, how many? Do you know how many years she's been in the game?
Well, that's the reason why I think I originally said Scott Panchik, is because the longevity of career is closer. I thought originally it was going to be closer to Panchik based on thinking about it. Noah Olsen's also in his 8th games. I bet. So Noah Olsen is probably the answer.
It's crazy that. So how many games has Panchik had?
I think this is 9 or 10.
It's crazy because I feel like he's been around 5 years longer than Noah. But it's
Noah
probably
came
not
in
true.
2014. Scott Panchik. I can pull it up here, right here.
So I know this is more of a kind of a superficial metric that I look at, not something that you give a shit about, but I'll say it anyway. Kristen Holte has 136,000 Instagram followers.
Okay.
And the most underrated, in my opinion, CrossFitter that I can think of is Scott Panchik, and he has 321,000 followers, so 3 times as many as her. And I think Noah has twice as many as Scott. I think he's like up over...
Close to 800,000.
Yeah. And most of them love me, contrary to what you see in the comments.
Okay, so this will be
The
Scott's
vast majority love me. Okay.
9th time. And he first came in like 2 years before Noah.
Okay, so we're going through the 2021 women who are going to be going to the CrossFit Games. We presume they're all here except for the ones who haven't competed in the last chance qualifier. The men had 2 people who could go, are going to come be added to that list through the last chance qualifier. How many do the women have?
Same. They all 2 additional competitors in the field. They have 34 instead of 32.
Okay. And that was all caused by the fact of the lockdown insanity that made it.
Who couldn't travel to live competitions that were then
Okay.
placed into virtual competitions and therefore given an extra last chance qualifier position.
Right,
So it happened
right,
2 more times for the women than the men.
right. I'm trying to keep my mouth shut and stay focused on the games. Katrin David Doder. Wait, Kristen Holte. Yes, maybe or no?
I said no for her.
Katrin Davids Doder.
No.
Sasha, no. She's a 2 times games winner.
That's right. That's what the record books say.
And you said Kara has never won the games, and neither has Laura Horvath. And I find it. And she trains with a qualified team and coach,
Yeah.
Ben Bergeron.
What they said for
The men. There's plenty of women that I'm going to say no to in this setting that should have every reason to disregard what I have to say and believe they can win the games or play second at the games.
Sasha, so she should still come. Katrin should still come and compete.
100%.
Sasha Nivas.
No.
Oh shit! Here we go. Thuradur Erla
Call her Turi.
Turi Erla Helgadoder.
No.
God, will there be no Icelandic women on your list? That would be crazy. That would mean that something's wrong with you. Larissa Kunha. Great last name. Gabrielle Megala, another great, that's just a great name for a movie character.
No.
Annie Thor's daughter. Are you having Jason Hopper issues here? Like, is this the same thing with Jason Hopper? You just don't know because you don't know.
She is probably the biggest unknown because of the proximity coming back from giving birth, and I do know for sure that at every stage of competition, she's performed ahead of what she expected from herself, and we know how good she can be, and she's not outside of the age range where you can still podium at.
What is that age range?
I think for the women, it's up to 33. Yeah.
Boy, you have some tough names coming up, by the way. Some tough names.
I think Annie is probably the hardest one. I'm gonna say his daughter.
Okay, so now you have 3.
3. Oh yeah, 3.
Okay, Danielle Spiegel.
Is that what it says on there, Dan?
No. I just wanted to say that. By the way, I saw a picture of her today that was just crazy. It's a profile shot of her on her. Someone sent it to me on her Instagram. Was like, "Hey, get this chick on your podcast." It's a profile picture of her running. I think she's carrying a bag, and her glutes and her thigh and her calf and her ankle, it's a marvel. You know what would be crazy? I wonder if there were women like this to paint. 500 years ago when painting was in. Someone needs to make a sculpture of her. I have to fill the time while you think and panic.
No. Answer is
Okay, Carolyn. I say Prevost. How do you say it?
Prevo.
Carolyn
could be
Prevost. Okay,
wrong.
she's
That's
Canadian.
what I say.
Okay, Carolyn Prevost. You're probably right. She's Canadian.
No,
That hurts. That hurts. Emily Rolfe.
no. You can't say this hurts. You know this. You know this hurts me.
I do know this hurts you. but mine's emotional. Yours is intellectual. Mine's deeper. Bethany Shadburn.
It's not fair to say that it's not emotional for me. I want all these girls to do great, and I want them all to come in. But you're putting me to the road here.
Okay, so maybe it's worse for you. For you, it's emotional and intellectual. For me, it's just emotional. Bethany Shadburn.
Man, she was so impressive. No.
Okay, let's stop. Hold on a second. Why not? What's her weakness? What's her weakness?
Actually, don't know. I don't know. Her
weaknesses.
I think the other girls are better.
How are her negative handstand push-ups?
Great. I think she was.
How's her attitude?
Incredible. Fantastic. Great support system. Great training environment.
How's her personal life?
Phenomenal. Guy, I think that, I'm not sure what they're at least dating. West Coast Classic, super nice guy, supportive in every way.
You know, one year Cara Saunders was at the games, and she did great. I can't remember what year it was, but I almost feel like she was too happy about her relationship, and that, like, no matter what happened at the game, she was going to be happy because she was in a great relationship. And maybe that's not good.
No, I think when I say supportive in every way, to me that's also that knows when they need to back off. They're not overbearing.
Mckenzie Riley.
No, but I'm so happy that she made the games.
Why is that?
Mackenzie and her husband Roy, they became friends of mine over like when I was traveling around. Roy is actually he knows a ton about that as well. There's actually a couple. I mean, Cara Saunders said, and boyfriend, whatever the situation is there too. It's not that uncommon. Anyway, a year ago or so, and Mackenzie, this girl, she didn't know how good she would be. She didn't really do the semifinals,
believing that
she could make it, but she just knew she was feeling good and best shot. And she ended up. I mean, it was very, very competitive in the women's field and Atlas games, but she made it, and I think it's really cool. That makes Cara Saunders, Annie Thorsdottir, Mckenzie Riley as new games this year, in addition to Reagan Huckabee, who's coming back. Ariel Lowen is a mother. I feel like I might be forgetting one. Apologize, but there's a lot of moms that have proven that you can do CrossFit competitively, have a kid, and come back from it and compete at the highest level. And
since we're just driving a bus back and forth over you, Brian, right now, let's fucking drive a tractor over you and ask you this question: who's better, Mckenzie Riley or Emma Tall? And for those of you who don't know, there's been a little bit of a kerfuffle, an intellectual kerfuffle around Emma Tall. She was in the games and then out of the games, and Brian and I have differing opinions on the way that was handled. But I'm just curious now, who's better, Mckenzie Riley or Emma Tall?
you know, Mckenzie Riley's like a 20. She finishes around 20th at the games historically, maybe 20th to 25th, and that's basically Emma Tall to be. Like, if I was ranking the games athletes close to each other, so it's an excellent question. I feel like less about Emma Tall, and therefore makes me want to believe that she couldn't do as well. I already know about her more than I do.
Mckenzie Riley just
based on experience.
Carrie Pierce.
No.
You guys, you know when you take a water break when you're doing CrossFit because you don't need water, but you just want to take a break. That's what, when Brian laughs, that's what he's doing. He doesn't think anything's funny. He's just laughing to give himself a moment.
That's exactly.
The greatest American CrossFitter who's ever lived and is currently competing at the highest level, and you say no?
Last year, for the first time since 2000, an American woman was on the podium at the games. In 2014, June would have been on the podium at the games if Cara Saunders was healthy enough. She would have taken second, and he would have been third, and there wouldn't have been a U.S. woman on the podium. Last year, if the games was allowed to happen with even 10 people at the ranch, none of the U.S. women would have made the podium.
Bailey Rail.
No. What is
Su Ning? Su Ning?
No. Stop.
Tell me her name.
Choi.
Say it again. Sung Young Choi. Sun Yun Choi.
No.
Choi.
No.
Svetlana Kubishkina. Svetlana Kubishkina.
Winner of the Asian Continental semifinal, but no.
Yeah, and a beautiful name. So I do see someone who is left off of this list.
You do?
Yeah. There's someone's name I didn't say, who you have been talking up.
Yeah.
Like,
but she's not on the list. I know who
like
it
no,
is.
like no tomorrow. Man, I don't feel like it.
Yeah, she's not on the list. You're right.
Danielle Brandon, is that her name?
Yeah. Good job.
Second.
Not Reagan Huckabee either. She's not
I didn't.
registered.
So let's go with Danielle Brandon. God, man,
over Sydney McCalishin.
Did I? Oh, yeah, you're right. I did, because I carry Pierce open. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back. Sydney McCalishin.
No, but I really like this girl. Like, she's 21. Potential in a couple of years if she stays with it.
That's it? Just top 10?
It's too early to say any more than that. And it depends on how long some of the other girls compete.
Yeah, she looks strong. It looks like she was a volleyball player. Holy shit, man. Some of these teenage boys are just incredible. I went to Google Images. Danielle Brandon.
No.
Wow. You have one to spare. You have two to spare, Brian. Two to spare. No reason to be a dick. Reagan Huckabee.
No.
So we have Cara Saunders, Laura Horvath, and Annie Thorsdottir.
That's pretty bold.
Justin Medeiros, Jason Hopper, Patrick Vellner, and Brent Fikowski.
Yeah, so if you add Tia to that's basically who I think are the top 4 men and women right now.
Do you know what the prize money is on the podium?
I think it's like $310,000 for first. I want to say $150,000 for second, and for third, maybe $80,000 for third.
That's awesome. That's a great breakdown. And then when you go to fourth, does fourth place get anything or no?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they pay through 20th, like $1,000 for 20th or something like that.
CrossFit
go down like
games.
1,000 from 10,000 to 1,000 hundreds.
CrossFit Games money, June 3rd, they posted something about 2.5 million in total. Oh shit, another Omen. So I just clicked this link and I'm on Barbend. And oh shit, we just got a calendar notification that Danielle Brandon's coming on the podcast on Monday at 10 a.m.
Okay, excellent.
Please tell me you can do it.
Yep.
And then we have Sam Apple on Wednesday. Okay, so he's the author of the book Ravenous, and if you haven't read that book, you should read that book. It's about Otto Warburg, who won the Nobel Prize in the 30s, and he's the godfather of cancer cell respiration and photosynthesis, and it's an amazing, amazing story. First place is 310,000. Second place is 120,000. Third place is 80,000, and then fourth place is 55, and then 40, then 35, then 31, 29, 27, 20, and it goes all the way down. And the smallest prize they have is $8,000.
For what place?
It doesn't say. It just trickles down. 4th through 20th. So 20th place gets 8,000.
Better than I thought for the bottom end.
And so I'm assuming 21st place doesn't get any money. And then for the individual events, if you win an event, you get $3,000. Second place, $2,000. Third for $1,000. I don't think they should do that. I think it should be, and like, I don't really care. I don't have a strong opinion on it, but I think they should give all $6,000 to whoever wins the event.
Oh, okay.
And team competition is 100,000 for first place, 70,000 for second place, third place is 40,000, fourth place is 25,000, fifth place is 20,000. And the Masters, the older you get, the less money you get. Holy shit, this is awesome. If you're in the 35 to 39 category, you get 25,000 for first place, and second place. Oh, and it pays down to third place. Wow. 35 to 39 pays down to third place. Third place gets 5,000. But if you go to the Masters, 65 and plus, first place gets 5,000, second place gets 3,000, third place gets 2,000. I think that's exceedingly generous. I do. I think it's 65 in this day and age.
I'm hopeful. I'm happy that the Masters will have a little bit more to compete on the main stages and not elite level athletes this year, but I'm because of travel restrictions and to go to places where there's big crowds, that it's not going to be the normal environment, especially early in the week up there.
Okay, we'll circle back to that. Let me finish the prize money, and you bring up a really good point that I want to push back on. I think people who are 65 plus should just be happy living in this day and age and not be in severe decrepitude. But and they should all get a little bit of money just for being role models instead of, well, we're all role models for each other, and that's the problem, whether you like it or not. Adaptive athletes, upper extremity, lower extremity, and neuromuscular. First place gets 5,000. Second place gets 3,000. Third place gets 2,000. I think that's exceedingly generous too. If you disagree with me, don't tell me.
It just sounds like that's the willing to put for any division right now.
So tell me. Yeah, good observation. Tell me what is. Thank you, Barben, for letting me jump on your site and steal your information. So tell me what is. Wait a second. There's a guy. I'm going to go back to Barbend here and see something. If this is the good douchebag who ripped on me for my behind the scenes like 8 years ago. Let me see who their editor is. About Us. Oh, yeah. This goofball. Do you know this guy, David Tao? He's the founder, CEO, editor-in-chief. Someone sent me an article that he wrote about me. It was so bad. It was just fucking mean-spirited and vapid. And I was like, how can this guy be the... I accept your apology, David. And thank you for letting me use your website. Travel restrictions. Do you see any complications, like just like really, really staring at any of the athletes, like just dead in the face right now, that you're like, oh shit?
I mean, I was talking about travel, but the athletes, it sounds like CrossFit's got people that are working on this with the athletes, but it's just like it would be in a normal. Rules are different, and that's amplified even more with the complications surrounding the global health situation.
And we're talking about CrossFit. And tell me about your concern about the fans. I view CrossFitters as not being concerned at all for their for the vast majority don't care about drinking a glass full of SARS-CoV-2, that they realize that they train to...
The demographics that I'm talking can't or won't be able to travel there, of which a big contingency of fans at the games. Like a lot of those athletes have an impressive amount of people who would travel overseas to watch them compete. And then the locals that aren't necessarily CrossFit fans, but would go to like this cool competition that's in town, in their state or in their region of the country, just because it's there.
California for it.
You know, just like there's people in California, it's in California, but they might not fly out to Madison for the games, or it's not every year.
Okay. This is just my personal opinion about the CrossFit Games. So I've been to a shitload of big events that are like parties. You know, when I lived in the Bay Area, I used to go to the Gay Pride Parade all the time. I would go to the Love-Ins in San Francisco. I've been to Grateful Dead concerts. I've been to Mr. Universe. I've been to the Arnold. I've just been to a ton of I've been to the Air Show. I've been to the Super Bowl. I've been to the Air Show in San Francisco. If you are the CrossFit Games, when Greg originally when Dave created the CrossFit Games, and Greg was sharing his vision of how he would like Dave to develop it, would be like the Woodstock of fitness. And I don't think it ever met the criteria that Greg would have wanted, but it sure as hell met the criteria I would have wanted. Regardless of however old you are, there is something there for you. It is an incredible event. What's unique about it to all the other events that I said is there's no assholes there. I've never run into an asshole there. Everyone is so nice to each other. It's like a giant family reunion. There isn't the posturing that you see at the other fitness expos or fitness events. It's a great place to bring kids. It's huge. There's tons of places to run around. If I was 21 years old or 25 years old or 18 years old, I would get as many friends as I could and I would camp there. The camping area is incredible. And if I was a father with young kids and I traveled and I wasn't like stuck in my little OODA loop like I am, I would take my little kids there because they're going to meet other little kids and other like-minded parents. People who it's basically just a giant show of people who don't believe necessarily in the victocracy or victimhood and who have taken control of their lives, but even on the next level want to share that message to the world. It's like a church gathering of people who believe in personal responsibility and health, and it's amazing. I can't advocate enough. If you've never been, you should go. It's awesome. There's something there for everyone, and there's beer. And there's good food. There's not shit food. There's actually amazing food and amazing coffee. And you'll see a lot of cool people. And your brain will be blown. No matter what you think about CrossFitters and what these athletes can do and how they perform, if you see it live, you will struggle to get your head wrapped around it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, there's something that amazes I've ever been to.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think you're using that word lightly. I mean, it's literally like, holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I just got back from Vegas, and I had it 2 or 3 times on the weekend of just goosebumps, like euphoric, like I can't believe what I'm watching. And I never really know when it's going to come. And sometimes I don't know who it's going to come from.
True. I think you're supposed to talk in a podcast, but this podcast is over. Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty tired.